How's it going, everybody? It's Stas here. So the stock market had a marvelous day today. S&P 500 up $50, up 1.6%. The Dow Jones up $460, up 1.8%. And the Nasdaq doing what the Nasdaq does best, outperforming the market, up 2.5%, up $260 as Amazon closed above $3,000 per share for the first time ever, guys. And in this video, we're going to be talking more about the markets, breaking down some technicals, and going over whether or not we're overheated right now in the stock market. And if we were to see some sort of pull down, some sort of correction, I want to go over where we might be pulling down to when it comes to the S&P, the Dow, and the Nasdaq. And as always, I'm going to be sharing with you guys a bunch of stocks, 7 in particular. And if you guys stick till the end, I'm going to be going over some bonus ones as well that I'm looking to trade right now in the month of July. And I'm also going to be sharing what I'm personally doing right now in terms of my different accounts when it comes to the stock market. So if you guys find value in the video, as always, hit that like button for me, consider subscribing to the channel, and check out all the free links down below in the description box if you want to be further connected with the Strive Smart community. And if you want 2 free stocks from Webull, one of them valued up to $1,400. Again, all of those are linked right down below in the description box. So let's start off with the S&P 500, which again, guys, very strong day, up 1.6%, up $50 on the day. So let's break down some key levels that stood out to me when it comes to the S&P 500 today. And the first one is we broke out of 3150. That is a massive break on the S&P. And why is this? Well, back in the middle of June, back on the 15th of June to be exact, through about the 23rd, 22nd of June, this is where the S&P struggled once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, roughly 4 or 5 times, right? We struggled breaking out of there and filling up to the next gap, which is around 3230, right? 3230, which is the resistance from back more towards the beginning of June. So the fact that we took out that resistance today, that means overall the bulls won the day, right? At least right in the beginning of the day. And what solidified the bulls winning the day at the end of the day was the fact that, if you guys can take a look on this intraday chart, we pulled down to the general 3160, 3150 level. Honestly, we held 3165 very nicely all throughout the day, which was a resistance from, what was this? Thursday, right? Back on Thursday, this was the high that we peaked out at. So that is very good, right? Not only did we take out 3150, 3160, we actually pulled down and we tested that old resistance as a new support once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, 6 to 7 times throughout the entire day today, which is absolutely incredible, right? And pulling back here to the 4-hour chart, it looks like, no doubt about it, the S&P 500 is headed higher, right? We got job reports numbers on Thursday. We got 4.8 million jobs added in June. That crushed the 3 million estimate. Jobless claims came in around 1.427 million, which at this point the market's really not moving down because of that, because the market's really expecting poor jobless claims numbers. It's the 15th straight week with over 1 million jobless claims. But the reason why the market is rallying at this point, oh my goodness, that was a big thunderbolt out there. So if you guys see my internet go down and the lighting go out, you know why. My power went out. But no worries, because I'll hook up to the hotspot on my phone and we'll figure out how to finish the video. But either way, at this point in time, guys, again, bulls won the day. S&P 500 is looking like it's going to continue pushing up, 3230, but the higher we get, obviously, the more in need of a pull down the S&P and honestly, the markets in general are going to need, right? We aren't as overbought as we were back in the beginning of June, roughly 1 month ago. You guys can see the RSI at that point was at 81, well above the 70 overbought threshold. So that means to me at this point, I think the markets, based on these technicals, I think they have a bit more room to run. I think we'll potentially take out 3230 and maybe push for a higher high here. Maybe not an all-time high, maybe not 3400, which would be an all-time high, but I think we'll take out 3230 and start to push to the low 3300s, maybe high 3200s before we do see that pull down that you guys saw, in the title of the video and in the thumbnail of the video, right? So I'm not ultra bearish right now, and I'm not extremely bullish, right? I personally trade without biases, without emotions, and that's kind of how I, try and lead with an example for you guys, right? That's kind of what I try and talk about here on the channel. It's very important to kick out your biases, all of your emotions, and just trade the chart, right? And the chart here is telling me, okay, we got a higher low at about 30.30 here, 30.20 on the S&P, higher low from the previous, so that's telling me, okay, the uptrend's continuing here on the 6-month chart, and the way that we took out 31.50 today, it's really showing me that momentum is there, bulls are winning, we might take out 3,200, and from there, 3,300 is not too far ahead, and at that point, where I'm thinking the S&P could pull down to is going to be around 3,200. Maybe we pull down to 3,200, 3,230, and test that old resistance as a new support. And let's say we pull down even from there, another big strong level that I'm looking at, it's going to be right around where we are, 70 to about 3,180. And if that level doesn't hold, maybe we go back and test where we were in the middle of June to about the end of June, which was around 3,150. So based on these technicals, I think we're going higher here, and we will see some sort of pull down after that, after we either take out the highs, or if we don't take out the highs and struggle at about 32.30, we can even see a pull down then. So keep an eye on those different areas on the S&P 500. Dow Jones, a big area right now, a big resistance is right around 26,400 to 500. And this is kind of what we talked about last week. And honestly, I don't know if I talked about it yesterday, but we definitely talked about it last week, how the Dow Jones is kind of trading in the middle. Let me pull this up if you guys can see it here. Maybe on this yearly chart. Actually, on this 4-hour chart, you'll be able to see it. Dow Jones, especially since it broke 25,800, we're trading between 25.8 and around 27K. So we're in the middle of this trading range to the point where it seems like if we break 26.4, like I said a couple seconds ago, big resistance, I mean, this thing should fill up to 27,000 based on what I'm seeing here, right? That gives it around 2 to about 2.3% upside. And if we get to that point, we're going to be in a similar predicament as the S&P. We're going to be right at the resistance from the beginning of June. And are we going to take out that high and maybe push up to, let's say, 28,200, or are we going to struggle there? And is that when we're going to see the pull down? So I think in the short term, like the S&P, obviously the markets kind of move in unison at this point. NASDAQ usually outperforms, but when we're all green, when the markets are green, typically all the indexes are green at the end of the day, guys. So if the S&P goes up, Dow should follow, NASDAQ should follow as well. So if we do gap up, I do honestly expect that gap up. But again, watch 27.2. If that breaks, we might be going up to 28,000. And from there, that is where the Dow is going to need the biggest correction, in my opinion. A pretty big correction back down to either 27K, maybe back down to 26,800. Those are some levels that I'm watching right here, on this 4-hour chart, and honestly in general here when it comes to the Dow. But overall, the bulls won the day today, but the bulls won't be fully in charge in the short term, at least, until we get out of 26,400. So the NASDAQ today is the only one where the bulls are completely in charge, right? Completely in charge. I mean, we see S&P and the Dow, they're under some key resistances. The NASDAQ actually just hit an all-time high today, $10,625.10. This thing is absolutely unbelievable, and it's probably in the most need of a pull down at this point, to be quite honest. And where I'm looking at is very simply going to be around, let's say, 10,100 to about 10,300. I think this general area, that general range, should be a pretty strong support moving forward when the NASDAQ does see a pull down. And notice how I said when, guys. The thing is, we can't always time these pull downs, but the pull downs are going to happen, right? I mean, take a look at what happened a couple weeks ago. I mean, every time we've hit an all-time high, I mean, we hit 10,100. We pulled down a couple hundred points to 9,500. We popped up to 10,300. We pulled down to about 9,700. So now that we rallied another 1,000 points from that pull down, I wouldn't be surprised if we went from 10,600 down to, let's say, 10,000, 10,100, like I said. I mean, that's not too out of the, that's not too much of a stretch, guys, and I'm sure many of you all out there can agree on that. So let me know down below in the comments, what are your thoughts on the markets? I would love to know. Where are we moving this week, in your opinion? Are we going to rally green all week, or are we setting up maybe for a later in the week pull down? I'd love to know what you guys have to think. Let me know down below in the comments. And today, guys, for me, a lot of the stocks I was eyeing up yesterday, many of them ended up playing out pretty according to plan, but I didn't add too much capital in the markets today, quite honestly. I only added one new position, and we'll talk about that here in a second. But before we talk about that, you guys know I'm in Ulta, right? Ticker symbol ULTA, and we're finally starting to see some green here on Ulta Stock. This is one that I've been buying from the 215 range, 205. I think I picked up some in the low 200s, and I've been sticking with it. You know, I was down quite a bit, not a lot, maybe a couple percentage points, nothing crazy, but I was down, and now we're finally starting to see a bullish break here. We broke $200. We broke the 50 SMA here on the 4-hour chart. We're up 2.6%, $5.40 today. Very good. And this is telling me, okay, we again broke 200, 202. That's a big break. We're entering into a new trading range now. And the resistance of this trading range, the first one is around 220. And if we break 220, it could fill up to 230, right? And you guys know, if you've been following the channel, 230 to the high 230s, maybe 240 is where I'm looking to actually exit and kind of scale out of this position to lock in the profits. So pretty much I'm just holding on to my swing shares right now with Ulta. Nothing too crazy. I didn't add to it. I didn't lock any profits. I'm up about $4 or $5 per share right now. Pretty nice gain right now, but I still feel comfortable holding this one over the next couple of days here. And the fresh position that I initiated today, and we'll go over here in a couple of minutes, guys, some other stocks that I didn't pull the trigger on, and I'm kind of being patient and waiting for maybe tomorrow or the rest of the week to actually initiate a position in. So the first one, or the only one that I added money to today, is WKHS, also known as Workhorse, right? Workhorse ended up selling off 16% today, roughly 16%, down $3.30, not really on any news. This thing was just overheated, right? It's in need of a pull down, and we surely got that pull down today, guys. And let me take a look and show you what I'm personally looking at here. So we can see last time Workhorse pulled down, it was from $20 down to about $14, and we ended up rallying from there. And notice how now, again, we hit an all-time high, $23. We hit a higher high in the pattern there, and now we're pulling down to a previous resistance to a pretty critical support around 16 bucks. And why is that a support? I think the 10-day chart shows you guys. You can see on the 10-day 30-minute chart, 16 to about 1630 is where the 180 SMA meets the stock, right? And the 180 SMA, this gold simple moving average here, has been a resistance, or rather a support, over the past couple of weeks. And that is a point where I personally think, and I took the risk here with actually buying the stock today, I personally think this is where more buyers are going to come in leading into the July 14th date, right? And that's a big date for Workhorse. Dive into it for yourselves, guys, and take a look at what's going on July 14th in regards to the USPS contract. Very big date for the stock, and I think it's going to rally. That's just me. I could be wrong. I can lose money on this. Of course, I'll show you guys and let you know if I lost money, made money on the channel, as I always do. And I ended up picking up some shares, and I'm actually down here after hours, guys. I actually nibbled a little bit of Workhorse at $17.90. And you guys can see here after hours, they're actually going down even further. They're down into the high $16. And the beauty of swing trading, at least the way I do it, is I scale into my positions. So I'm not really bummed out that I'm down already in the after hours in my position, because quite honestly, the way, again, I swing trade is I scale into positions. I buy 10-15% of my goal position, and in case it falls down. And if it does fall down, I reevaluate the situation. I either cut losses, or I can just average down and add more money into the position, which is a possibility for tomorrow's session, depending on how Workhorse ends up playing out. So that's pretty much all I did today, guys. Again, we're going to get into some stocks here that I'm looking to actually buy tomorrow, maybe the next couple of days, but they just didn't break out. They didn't break some technical areas that I wanted them to break today, so I didn't force it. And that's what I always say on the channel, guys. Don't force anything. I mean, always be patient when it comes to stocks. I know sometimes it's difficult to be patient, but it really does pay off. And that's kind of what I learned over the past couple of years as I've been trading, as I've been submerged daily, guys. I have not missed a day in the stock market in years at this point. And that's kind of how I've learned. So let me know down below in the comments, what are your thoughts as always. Now, let's get into the stocks. The first one here, the first two, they're actually restaurant stocks. And with today's movement, all the, indexes went up. We saw a lot of large caps go up, including Starbucks, SBUX, and this one, although it is still in a funky spot, right? We're making higher lows. We're uptrending at the same time as we're downtrending, as you guys can see here, putting us in a wedge. I think we're being squeezed into a potential breakout point. And it could go under, it could go the other way. But if we're looking at it from a bullish perspective, I mean, if we break 75, 76 bucks, let's say 76 bucks, I'm thinking it can rally up to 80 bucks, 79 bucks. I mean, that would be entering into a new trading range, and from 76 bucks up to about $80, that's around a 5% move there on Starbucks. And let's say the markets continue rallying, right? I mean, we continue pushing up here. I wouldn't be surprised if Starbucks followed. And not to mention, I mean, they've been lagging the market, so they're kind of in need of, maybe not to go back up to 90 bucks, but a rally. It's kind of been in store at this point for Starbucks. So I'm watching that wedge there on the 4-hour chart. And another one here is McDonald's. And this one's a bit further in the breakout process than McDonald's, or rather than Starbucks. But you can see we're holding the uptrend, higher lows, and we squeezed into the wedge, and we actually broke out of the wedge. Let me double check. I think it was today, and a little bit on Thursday's session as well, right? So that's very good. We broke 130, or 183 rather, broke that wedge, and now we're breaking the main moving averages on the 4-hour chart. And I'm thinking if McDonald's ends up taking out 190, this thing could be back into the 200s in no time, right? Because 190 back up to 200, that's the next trading range there, and that would give it around a 3.8 to about a 4% potential for profit if it does move in that trading range. And another one that did well today, worth mentioning here, is Virgin Galactic, ticker symbol SPCE. It almost closed above 17 bucks, closed at 16.95, up 70 cents, up 4.3% on the day. And I'm not too sure exactly why it ran. It might not be on any specific news. I don't think it was. Actually, that's right, they are revealing the inside of the spaceship cabin design virtually. I was reading about this earlier through a virtual YouTube live stream on July 28th. So that could be a reason why the stock's moving a bit. Probably not, quite honestly, but that is a kind of thing that I'm looking forward to, at least to see how they're innovating there and what it looks like on the inside of that cabin. But ultimately, it's just moving up. I mean, it's been holding 15 bucks pretty nicely over the past couple of months. That's no doubt about it. And we are bound to have a rally, and that's kind of what I've been saying. I have money in this stock. I mean, I put my money where my mouth is, right? I mean, I have a long-term position in this. It's more of a spec play, but I do have some long-term money in it, and I also have some call options. Let me open up my Webull app. I actually have some call options here, and again, don't forget to get your 2 free stocks from Webull, one of them valued up to $1,400. All you have to do is deposit $100 into the brokerage, and you get your 2 free stocks. That's linked down below, but let me pull up my app and see exactly what options I have. I think they expire in 2021. I have the January 15th, 2021 call options at a $35 strike price. I'm currently down about 25% on those options, but I'm still holding on because they have a couple more months till expiration, and I have time on my side at this point, guys. The stock still has some time to get to those points, and with the premium potentially rising in that time, I can make a nice profit in these call options. But overall, the point is, I'm bullish Virgin Galactic, and I'm thinking in the short term, we need to break out of 1750, no doubt about it, because we're still in this little wedge here. As you guys can see, I mean, we're in this wedge, and if we start squeezing out to 1750, maybe at $18 and above, that is where I think a lot of momentum's going to come, a lot of bullish momentum's going to come, and if we break 19, that is where I think a lot more momentum is going to come, to the point where 20 bucks should not be a long shot. It should be right there. And that's kind of what I'm waiting for here with Virgin Galactic. I've been very patient with this stock. I mean, and that's how it goes, guys. You can't always rush into, not rush into a stock, but get into a stock and expect it to just explode the day after. I mean, sometimes patience, you're going to need more patience with certain stocks more than other stocks. And let's take a look at some other ones here that I do have in my notes. Uber officially bought Postmates in an all-stock deal today, $2.65 billion. It plans to run the business alongside its own food delivery business, Uber Eats, keeping the Postmates app running while merging some of the tech and delivery operations at the back end. For example, by having drivers delivering orders for both businesses. Oh, that's pretty interesting. But from my experience, although I've never driven for Postmates or Uber Eats, I think a lot of them already do both. I mean, it's kind of like people that Uber and Lyft. They have both apps, and they already do both. So this might not be a big of a change for some Uber Eats drivers, and but overall, it should bring a lot more business, right? It should bring a lot more business to these drivers and in general to Uber as they are merging and kind of putting those platforms together. So bravo Uber, up 6% today, up $2 per share, almost $2 per share, and the bullish break above $30 is what I like here. So at this point, I think the biggest resistance, and I mean, it's no arguing it is the biggest resistance, is around 34 to 34.50. So this pull down heading into the close, quite honestly, guys, this could be an entry point tomorrow, no doubt about it. I mean, if we get in at 32, 32.50, 31.50, that general area, I can see it riding up to, let's say, 34.50 and above. That could end up filling to, let's say, 36, 37. So overall, Uber here, this is some good news. I'm watching it from 32 to 34.50 and above if it does end up breaking there. And Boeing, BA, guys. BA is another one that I almost pulled the trigger on today, but I want to see some more upside here. A break above, let's say, 190. So let's put an alert there. Create alert is at or above 190. This is actually one that I am pretty bullish on when it comes to a trade. Long term as well. I mean, I did cut my position in Boeing a couple, like a couple weeks ago. It might be like 2 months ago in my long-term account because they cut their dividend. So I cut it there. I cut the position because in that long-term account, and the philosophy behind it is if I invest in a company for its dividend and it cuts the dividend, I'm going to cut the company out of the portfolio and put that money somewhere else. And that's kind of what I did there with Boeing. And maybe when they bring the dividend back, I might add it back into the portfolio. But for now, I'm still bullish long term overall, let's say 10 years from now, since Boeing's not going anywhere. They're not going to go bankrupt. And in the short term, as a trade, I'm definitely bullish because President Trump saying, they're not going to let them go bankrupt, guys. They're going to pump this company with so much money, and when a company gets pumped, they're going to go up, right? And I'm thinking if we break 190, 195, 200, that is where I'm going to add money, and we're going to ride it up. I'm going to ride it up. You always do your own due diligence and your own research, guys. Do not buy or sell based on my opinion. But from 190, 200 up to, let's say, the mid 210s, 220, 230, that's kind of where I'm looking for a trade here when it comes to Boeing. And what do you know? NIO stock, Tesla stock, they are on fire yet again. NIO up 22% today, up $2.13. We got the pull down here to $11, rallying into the close. This could have been the low, guys. It very well could have been. Did I buy more today? No. I'm just watching it at this point, and I'm just keeping an eye on it. A lot of people are saying EV stocks are in a bubble. I don't think they're in as bad of a bubble. I don't even think they're in a bubble, quite honestly. Some might be, but I don't think NIO or Tesla's in a bubble per se. But a lot of people are saying they're like the MJ stocks, like what was that, 2 years ago when Tilray went from $5 to $300. I don't think it's a bubble like that, but in the short term, they could be maybe a little bit overinflated, which is why I have not gotten in as a swing for NIO quite yet. I'm being patient with it, and believe me, guys, if it does end up pulling down to 930, I'm for sure going to be getting in at that point. And Tesla today, it's unbelievable, up 13%, almost $1,400 here after hours. Good night to the shorts, man. This thing is unbelievable. I mean, come on. If you told me last year $200 per share, Tesla's going to be $1,500 next year, I would have slapped you across the face, guys. I mean, this is just unfathomable, but it's reality. Tesla up 14% today. What do you know? So 3 bonus stocks I'm watching here. Shopify finally seeing some sort of a pull down 4% from 1060 down to about 980. Seems to be holding at a higher low here. This could be an entry point. JP Morgan as well, almost pulled the trigger. Not really, honestly, guys. I might, I almost did, but I wanted to be patient around 98 to $100 on this one. You guys know from there, that's a break out of the candle or this triangle here, and especially if we break $100, I can see it going 105, 110, 115, no problem over time. And another one, guys, Square ended up going to $130, ticker symbol SQ, and it pulled down to excuse me, guys, $118. So it saw a $10 sell-off here. So this could also be an entry point tomorrow if we hold this 50 SMA on this hourly chart, which is this green SMA. So that's pretty much it, guys. A bunch of stocks, thoughts on the market there, and the technical break on the S&P, the Dow, and the NASDAQ. So let me know down below in the comments, what are your thoughts, as always, on the markets, the stocks talked about in this video, and any stocks that you're watching. I'd love to know. Let me know in the comments. Excuse me, guys. Oh, man, my voice is getting raspy. And if you guys enjoy the video, hit that like button. Let's get 400 likes on this video. Consider subscribing as well. And don't forget to claim your 2 free stocks from Webull, one of them valued up to $1,400. All you have to do is deposit $100 into the account, and you get your stocks within 5 to 7 business days. And I also get 2 free stocks because it is an affiliate link, and that is how one way that you can support the channel for free. Again, link down below in the description box. So I'll catch you all in the next video. Thanks for watching. As always, be safe out there. Peace out. How's it going, everybody?